Hi there, and thanks for joining me for this week's edition of your Wheel and Anchor weekly newsletter. I'm delighted to be here in Copenhagen, right on the beautiful harbor of this amazing city. It's actually incredibly hot here today. I think the temperature rose to about 26, which for this time of the year in Scandinavia is what they would consider one of their warmer summer days. So everybody's out on the streets just around the corner. Nyhavn, which is the little canal area filled with shops and restaurants. I'm here for the start of the first 5x5 program to Scandinavia and the Baltics. Our guests are going to be arriving tomorrow, some of your fellow members, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a sec. The big news for this week is that the Canadian government, after a pressure from travelers for a number of years, has finally changed the regulations requiring airlines to provide a broader array of compensation to passengers who have been affected by delays. And the big difference now is that even delays that are within the airline's control, beyond the airline's control, in other words, weather and strikes and basically any reason for a delay, you will be entitled to a refund or the ability to rebook without charge. And I think that this is a positive step. Now, at the same time, the legislation, as I've read it thus far, does not go as far as in the EU, for example, where, of course, if travelers have delays of more than about 4 hours, depending on how far you're going, you actually get a compensation check. So we haven't quite gotten that far in Canada, and I'm sure that our oligopolistic airlines are drawing the line at any kind of regulations like they have here in Europe. But anyway, let's see. At least it is a small step in the right direction. This week, we are bringing to you the third edition of our Trip Inspiration Survey. So as you will recall, for those of you that tuned in 2 weeks ago, we did the first round of our survey, which was a broad inquiry from our members into the type of programs that you are interested in participating in and the time of the year. And last week, we talked about specifically our new proposed live-away destinations, and we got some great feedback from you on that. And I'll be sharing the results of all of that with you in an upcoming newsletter. This week, it's all about our Sojourn program. So this is the category of programs like our 5x5s that are all in keeping with our philosophy of slow travel. So in other words, we take more time in destinations, more time to get acquainted with the local community, meet local people, learn about their traditions and cultures, more than just sort of the classic whistle-stop tour. So our Sojourn programs typically are like our 5x5s, which is like the program I'm starting on here now, which is 5 nights in 5 different destinations. This time around, we're actually going to be only doing 4. I'm going to here to Copenhagen for 5 nights, then up to Stockholm for 5 nights, then over to Helsinki for 5 nights. And during this time, it's a mix between having a curated program of things that I think are interesting for our members to see and experience in these different cities, but also enough free time for people to go off with recommendations from myself and my local colleagues here about the kind of things that you might want to see and hear and do when you're in these different cities. And so we have a bunch of different 5x5 programs, as well as our Sojourns. And the Sojourns are like we have this coming October in France, our so-called France Kaleidoscope program, where we spend a week in each destination. And in France, for example, we'll do a week focusing on Normandy. We're going to be spending it in Bayeux, which is not far from the D-Day landing beaches. And another one of the weeks we're going to be doing staying in Lyon, which is of course the food capital of France and the gateway to the Rhone Valley and to Burgundy. And so our Sojourn programs are a week in duration. But again, the general concept here is these programs spend less time in a place than our live-aways, which are 2 to 4 weeks. But at the same time, much more than an average sightseeing type tour, and curated in a way that allows you to see and do the kind of things that interest you with our guidance. So you'll find the survey link in the blog. please do take a few moments of your time, look at the type of places we're thinking about going. Give us your feedback. It's really important to me to understand where our members want to go, because let's face it, that's the programs that we're going to be building for you in the near future. So with my greetings from here in beautiful Copenhagen, Denmark, I say I hope, I know the weather's hot back home as well, so let's all enjoy the summer, and I'll catch up to you next week from Stockholm, Sweden.